A federal judge has voided the mask mandate for airports, planes, and other forms of transit, though people will still be required to wear masks during armed robberies in cities run by Democrats in the hope the robbers won't spread disease while they're pillaging your store in the name of social justice and a great new flat-screen TV. The question put before Florida U.S. District Judge Catherine Mizell was, is it constitutional for a cabal of unelected bureaucrats led by a preening upward failure of a Faucian buffoon who may or may not be the felonious android spy played by Ian Holm in the first Alien movie to impose random orders on a free people in the name of an imaginary power called the science, which is not to be confused with science, which has repeatedly shown that unelected Faucian buffoon cabals haven't the first foggy fiddling idea what the hell they're talking about. The judge's answer to that question read in its entirety, quote, ha 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 ha, ha ha ha, ha ha, unquote. Though 98.7% of Americans greeted the judge's ruling by dancing around in a gigantic nationwide circle and singing Hava Nagila while kissing random strangers and entering into ill-considered marriages out of an overflow of sexual energy inspired by a hallucinatory ecstasy of joy, CDC chief Oz, the Great and Terrible, called on the DOJ to appeal the decision. Speaking in the form of a holographic gigantic green head while hiding her shabby and miserable self behind a curtain, Oz said, quote, this decision must be overturned because if Americans stop being afraid of the virus, they might stop being afraid of climate change. And if they stop being afraid of climate change, they might stop being afraid of systemic racism. And if they stop being afraid of systemic racism, they might stop being afraid of one another and band together to tar and feather us and throw us into the Potomac where we so obviously belong, unquote. The largest pro-mask activist organization, Please Force Me to Cover My Horrible Face, or PFM-CMHF, is composed mostly of Democrats plus Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th slasher films. Voorhees says he supports the mask mandates because his mask is the beloved trademark of a profitable movie franchise, whereas Democrats say they support the mandates because they're eerie psychopaths who love to terrorize people and just won't die no matter how many times you manage to end their reign of terror. Anthony Fauci, the head of the National Institute for Oh, Why Don't You Go Away and Shut the Hell Up, You Corrupt Bureaucrat Loser, or NIOWDYGASHUCBL, gave his reaction to the judge's ruling on the CNN Plus show Rest in Peace, starring Brian Stelter's Reputation. Speaking in an incredibly irritating, high-pitched, gravelly voice, Fauci said, quote, people must wear masks or not wear masks because they help or don't help, and we'll appeal the decision or not, depending on the science or just some random crap that occurs to me as I lie awake at night trying to think of stupid things to say on TV in my irritating voice, unquote. Fauci then spun around in circles, spewing white fluid out of his mouth until his head fell off and he collapsed on the floor, revealing he actually was the felonious android from the first Alien movie who was ordered to bring a dangerous life form to Earth where it could be weaponized against humanity. Either that or he was just taking payoffs from the Chinese to do basically the same thing. In a private conversation with the Easter Bunny, President and venal houseplant Joe Biden reacted to the decision by saying, quote, I support the mandate. I don't see why men shouldn't date each other if they're the sort of guys who used to hang around the bathhouse at the pool where I was a lifeguard before I killed Corn Pop in a duel and was appointed sheriff of Dodge City in the movie High Noon, Oh Look, a Bird Crapped on Me, unquote. For more great content, like and subscribe to the Andrew Klavan Podcast.